Okay, here's part 5 of the prologue.
Presented by Quinrose.
びっくりするじゃない。人間なんかに触られるなんて。妖精は繊細な生き物なんだからね。
And she's like, don't be surprised I reacted. Ah, humans can't touch me. Fairies are delicate creatures. Wendy's like, fairies? Are you a fairy?
そうよ。悪い？
And she's like, yes. Is it bad? This is Tinker speaking. And she's like, wow. So it's not bad. Wendy trails off. Wendy's like, fairy? This thing?
私が偽物だって言う気？私ぐらい妖精らしい妖精はいないわよ。あんた、さっきから失礼すぎるわ。
She's like, you feel like I'm a fake? I'm not as fairy-like as a fairy? You're too rude from the beginning. She's admonishing her. And she's mad. Wendy's like, I'm sorry. I've never seen a fairy, so this is for the first time. And trailed off. Wendy's like, why are there fairies in my room? To herself. New CGs.
私は断固反対よ。本気でこんな子を選ぶつもりなの？
She's like, I'm definitely against it. Are you really going to choose such a child? Tinker's asking this to Peter. And the CG's changed. Really gorgeous. I love the art. We were definitely dating this fairy. So pretty. Yeah, I really like her. Wendy's like, I'm not a realist at all, and I'm not going to deny the existence of fairies or spirits. This is to herself.
本気だよ。絶対にこの子じゃないと嫌だ。
Peter's like, yeah, seriously, absolutely, it must be Wendy. I don't want it to be anyone but this girl. Reaver. Wendy's like, I looked at picture books and listened to fairy tales and thought it would be wonderful if it really existed. This is to herself over here not paying attention, and we'll regret that, girly. Because, yeah. Ugh, the art. Wendy's like, to herself, again, still, but it's different when it actually appears in front of you. Even if this is the reality now, it's difficult to accept. And it changes.
どうしても？
She's like, for God's sakes, by all means, her. This is Tinker speaking to Peter.
しつこいぞティンカー。僕が絶対だって言ったら絶対だ。
Peter's like, I'm persistent, Tinker. If I say absolutely, it's absolute. Like he's the end all be all. Yup. This boy. Seriously. Wendy's to herself, still speaking. If this girl's a fairy, is Peter also a fairy? Still not paying attention, and we'll regret for that.
ピーターがそう決めたのなら仕方ないわ。私はあくまで反対だけど。
Tinker's like, if Peter decides so, I can't help it. I'm just feeling the opposite about her. Wendy's like, before that, why would such a strange thing be in my room? talking to herself here. She's like, why were you in such a place, like in town? And she's thinking about Peter and like where she met him. CG's changed again. Wendy's like, hey, oh, what did you guys come here for? She finally asked them the most important question, the whole prologue.
言っただろ？君を迎えに来たんだよ。僕の世界に来てもらいたい。
Peter's like, why'd you say that? I came to pick you up, like he told her earlier. And he's like, I want you to come to my world. And he's like, kidnapping commenced, yep. While she was daydreaming, and they were talking about it, no less. Can't believe this girl. Wendy's like, where is that? And I mean, in that sense, your world.
ここからずっと遠くにあるんだ。とっても綺麗で過ごしやすい場所だよ。
Peter's like, it's a long way from here. It's a very pure and comfortable place to stay. And he's like, how far is it for really far? Like, how long does it take for a horse-drawn carriage, a ship, or an airship? She's getting, like, kind of specific here.
そんな乗り物じゃいけないよ。タイミングを合わせて空を飛ばないとたどり着けないんだ。
Peter's like, oh, well, we can't go with that kind of vehicle. If we don't fly in time, I can't get us there. Stall, Wendy, stall. After a pause, she's like, but if I was taken, could I return safely? And Wendy's like, it's not a joke to herself. Is it possible? I mean, when taken to a strange place like that? Yeah, girl, it's no joke. And then Wendy's like to herself still, I want to find a chance and escape from this situation while having a proper conversation.
変なことを聞くんだね。行けるんだから帰れるに決まっているじゃないか。でも、帰るのは君たちがちゃんと役目を果たした後だけど。
So he's talking about the competition that's coming up that she's gonna have to judge. And so he's like, I heard something weird from you. Like her wanting to go back, basically. And he's like, you can go back. I mean, so you're supposed to be able to go home. But I'll let you come back after you guys have done the job properly. And when he's like, our role? Question mark? Flashbacks to Alice games. And to herself, she's like, it seems that there is a purpose of removing something for them. That is, to take me away. And I don't want to go with them anymore. She's like concluded this.
そんな説明は後でいいよ。向こうに着いてからちゃんと説明してあげるから。早く行こう。
Peter's like, I'll explain that later. I'll explain it properly after we get there. So let's go quickly. And she's kidnapped, basically. That's what that means. No explanation for you. Huzzah. Wendy's all pissed off. You can tell she's pissed off. Her face has changed. She's like, if you say that you don't want to teach me until only after you have me go, you don't have to tell me. I'm not going. Good job, MC. You tell him.
行くんだよ。僕がそう決めたんだから絶対だ。
Peter's like, you're going. Absolutely going. Because I decided so. Jerk. Yeah, he's a jerk. Wendy's like, well, I don't allow it to them.
君の意見は聞いていない。
Peter's like, I haven't asked to hear your opinion. She's like, after a long pause, what?
ねえピーター、本人が嫌がっているんだから他を当たりましょうよ。
Tigger cuts in. She's like, hey Peter, I hate her myself, so let's just deal with some others, like some other people.
私もっとおとなしくてピーターが気に入りそうな候補をちゃんと見つけておいたのよ。
Tigger's like, have you found a quieter candidate? One that Peter might like? She might be referring because they do this in like third person to him. But I think she's actually asking Wendy here. Like, did you find someone else that he can replace you with, basically? And Wendy's like to herself, help came from a surprising place. The Tinker. And then aloud, she's like, oh yes, I hate this, so hit up the other one. Like, some other person.
ちょっとあんた、ピーターに命令だなんて何様のつもりよ。
But her demanding this, like, pissed Tinker off. So she's like, hey, you. And then after a pause, she's like, what do you mean by ordering Peter around? And Wendy's like, what are you saying with this? And now she's like, all like, fed up. You can see it on her sprite on the text box. It changes with, like, her mood. And now
言い方が気に入らないのよ。
So Tinker cuts in and she's like, I don't like what you say, like how you say it. And she's all mad now. And Wendy's face has changed too, you can see. Peter's just standing there in the background still. Wendy thinks to herself, Tinker fluttered sideways, but this does not help me out. And she's like to herself, moreover, it's just his son, like coldly blunt. Wait, and I saw this in this person who said something like it from the first time that they had spoken to me. I wonder if it's because it's a fairy. She's like, Chisundari. Is this because she's a fairy? And she's concluding to herself, though worrisome. I don't say it because this talk may last a long time if I do. She's like, I'm not gonna argue about this with this girl, because otherwise, like, this conversation will go on.
誰がどう言おうと、僕は絶対に君を連れて帰る。
Peter's like, no matter what you say, I'll definitely bring you, Wendy. And after a pause, he's like, I'll take you home with me. Creeper. Ah, he's so creepy. This is why he's, like, unredeemable right now. And Wendy tells him, she's like, such, as if, like, such a thing. But she cuts herself off. And to herself, she's like, I wonder how he will get me to give up. And I may be really taken, as it is. She's, like, taken with them. She's concerned. You can see it on her text box sprite. Wendy's like, I have never been in this situation, so I do not know how to deal with it. But I can't give up. This is to herself. Still to herself. She's like, why is this unrealistic thing so like a dream happening to me? And then she's still to herself, if this is a dream, the next day I'll be awake, and in the morning I'll make a box lunch and tell John and Michael a strange dream story. And she's like, I bet they must have a good laugh, thinking, my sister was really tired. And that's what's in parentheses. My sister was really tired. It's them speaking. She's like, right, I'm just tired. To herself. And still to herself, she's like, if you're not tired, tomorrow, you should be more calm. If you take a rest, you'll surely come up with a good idea on why this happened. And then to her delusion, she thinks, she's saying, maybe you can go back out and let me think a while, like a little bit, to them.
どんなことを考えても一緒だよ。時間の無駄だ。僕は早く帰りたいんだけど。
And here we get our first look at sprites, like the non-text box one for her. They usually do just straight CGs throughout the entire game. It's a straight visual novel, but here we get our first taste of some sprites. And it's only for like about 5 lines. Peter's saying here, whatever you think about during it, this like little time, it's a waste of my time, and I want to go home soon. Trailing off. You can see him. They did a good job on the sprites too.
ちょっとぐらいいいじゃないピーター。
Tinker's like, it's a little bit too close to force, and that's not good, Peter. So she's like on her side a little bit. Pretty sprite for Tinker. Aww.
美味しいお茶と美味しいお菓子でもてなしてくれたら少しぐらい待ってもいいと思うの。
Tinker's like, if you entertain me with delicious tea and sweets, I think I can wait a little longer. And we're dating her for sure after Pirates and Mr. Hook. For sure.
美味しいお菓子。いいね。それならもうちょっとここにいてもいいよ。
This baits Peter. He's like, tasty sweets. Good. We can stay here a little longer. Jerk. And Wendy's like, Tinker and Peter head towards the door leading to the corridor to herself. And then she's like aloud, are you going out there? Like to them, she said that. And then to herself, she's like, I was going to try to get them out of here and through the window again, but it didn't seem to communicate to them. She's like, Tinker opens the door, and immediately Nana jumped into the room, barking loudly. And the CGs come back. So cute. I love this one. Tinker's like, hey, what's this dog? She's freaking out. Freaking out. I love it. So cute. Ridiculously adorable. Oh my gosh. I may or may not put that as the CG for the thumbnail. And it is a bit animated, just so you know. Wendy to herself is like, Nana doesn't even look at Peter and drives towards Tinker. Like, just dives. Wendy's like, she might have seemed more suspicious than Peter to Nana because of the glow, like from her skin.
お前それすっごく面白いよ。今までティンカーがやったことの中でこれが一番面白い。
Peter's finding this hilarious. He's like, you're so funny. This is the most interesting thing Tinker has ever done. Yeah, he's a jerk.
笑い事じゃないわ。助けてよ、ピーター。
Tinker's like, it's not a good thing to laugh at. Help me, Peter. She's like freaking out still. He's still laughing.
だってお前の慌てっぷりが。
What a jerk. He's like, because you're hurrying.
ちょっとあんた、これあんたの犬でしょ。なんとかしなさい。
And Tinker's like to him, you're a little bit mean. And then she's to like, Wendy, this is your dog. What should I do? They're so mean. Like, Peter, I mean. And Nana a bit here. And then we have choices. Wendy's top choice is cheer for Nana or bottom. I'll do something for you because I want to date her after the prologue at some point, which we will save and then go back to after we finish Hook. I will choose the bottom, which is I'll do something for you. And she's like, Nana, stop it! Right here. And then she's to herself, the fleeing Tinker, I feel sorry for her, and tried to tell her to stop, Nana. But Nana, who is excited, doesn't listen to me.
早くなんとかしなさいよ。役立たず。
Tinker's like, do something soon, you're useless. And she's all mad now, she's like, you. And to herself, she's like, a set of loud footsteps came closer to me. It seems John and Michael have noticed the emergency.
姉さん、何かあったのか?
John's like, what happened to my sister? And to herself, Wendy's like, in front of the two people who jumped into the room, there was a chase happening between Nana and Tinker. Still. CG change. And music.
こいつら、どうやって空中を飛んでいるんだ?
So they do this for whenever like there's cursing, and that's that top section there. All those symbols just randomly thrown in. And he's like, John, these guys, and then trailed off. He's like, how are you flying in the air? He's like freaking out. Michael's behind him.
Nanda kore?
Now Michael's like, what? What is this?
マイケル、気をつけろ。化け物がいる。
And John's like, Michael, watch out! There are monsters! Which offends Tinker. Okay.
はあ、可愛い妖精に向かって化け物とは失礼ね。
Tinker's like, to a cute fairy? I'm rude to be called a monster. And she freaks out. Alright, you guys, we're gonna end this one here. Because it's a good stopping point, and this is also the end of my draft. Yep. So... And because I had a recording error, I am actually going to save in the spot below, just in case. Alrighty.